Joint Administrations and Matriculation Board is saddled with the responsibility of conducting examination for students entering into tertiary institutions in Nigeria. However, JAMB recently released the 2025 Unified Matriculation Examination (UTME) results, which revealed a significant number of candidates scoring below the benchmark of 200. Data shows that 76% of candidates scored below, a substantial decline in JAMB scores compared to previous years, as this year over 1.5 million candidates scored below the benchmark of 200. This mass failure has painted a wrong picture, as a high number of students failing JAMB creates a bottleneck in entering tertiary institutions in Nigeria. The mass failure has indeed highlighted the need for a comprehensive attention to Nigeria's education system. These and more will be discussed this morning on Midweek Connect this week. I am Ifoma Okafor. Please join us. First of all, let's go to our segment, Tidbits. The Edo State Governor Senator Monday Ekweolo has urged traditional rulers in the South to synergize with the Tinubu-led administration towards a better Nigeria, where the dreams of the ordinary citizens will be realized. This was when he played host to the South Monarchs Forum at the Government House.
How can we have unity without the input of our traditional rulers? There will be a need for southern governors to come together and the traditional rulers to come together and have a common meeting. I want to beg the traditional rulers to help the president. This area of insecurity, an area that I'm actually really begging the traditional ruler to cooperate with government so that we can move this country forward.
The capacity pool of the South traditional rulers, like their counterpart in another part of Nigeria, has matured to cover almost all the skills set requisite for governance. More so because the lower unit of administration is such a program at the local governments and community traversed by the royal fathers.
Again, Edo State Governor Senator Monday Ekweolo says the safety of citizens is of utmost importance to his administration. Hence, the intensified fight against cultism and cult-related activities. The governor stated this while addressing Edo youths who were on a peaceful rally to Government House.
We, the youth of Edo State and the students of Edo State, we stand strongly against cultism and drug abuse in our state. When the government of Edo State implements our communique, we are sure that meaningful results will be achieved.
We are saying we are behind you. Yes, whatever measures you want to take to curb cultism, take it.
If I was killed as a youth, if I was in any way shot at and I died, will I be a governor today?
No!
So for that reason, every Edo blood matters.
Yes.
I am glad that you people have taken this stand to say we should not lose any blood anymore. They want to kill our dreams, and we will not accept. Let them make noise from here to anywhere, and I will not listen to them.
Away from safety matters, journalists in Edo State have received free medical services to keep them fit in their line of duty.
Most times they go out, they don't even check themselves because they have to go to work, they have to go to work, they have to bring information and all that. So as a result of that, they don't even check themselves. So we're bringing it to their doorstep.
We see them running around every day, going to get us abreast with things happening across the state. It's also, we felt like it would be very important if we can actually make them know their health status.
As far as it's medical related, it it is my duty to also want to be a part of it. That's why I partner with them.
As journalists, we need the eyes essentially, for work. So it's important that periodically like this, we have this opportunity, to check our eyes. I mean, I've been wearing glasses for some time, so it's also another place, to do a recheck, as it were.
And finally, Nigerians in Benin City have commended President Tinubu's efforts to strengthen the domestic economy and promote local contents. They are also appealing to the federal government to consider the importation policy on some essential and sensitive products to avoid economic shock.
The prohibition of the importation of certain goods and services by a country is an element of international trade policy.
When the local content are being patronized by the government and the masses, you will see that they will be able to employ more hands, and they are not going to bring in expatriates. So they are going to employ the local, and local resources will be sourced. And when we do that, we are boosting our own economy.
It will encourage our indigenous industries, our local industries.
At this point, we'll go on break. When we come back, discussion on the mass failure of JAMB this year will continue. Stay with us.
Naduawa and environs, or you need a conducive and open field Naduawa for your wedding receptions, birthday parties, annual ceremonies, family or corporate events in a serene and conducive environment that is close to nature? Then look no further. NTA Benin Aduawa is a place for you. NTA Benin Aduawa has a large field for all your events and ceremonies. Also, at NTA Corporate Headquarters TV Road, we have a state-of-the-art, fully air-conditioned, ultra-modern hall for all kinds of indoor events with a standby generating set, therefore ensuring uninterrupted power supply. We also have NTA Pavilion for all outdoor events at the same venue. Guess what? Our prices are affordable, locations are easily accessible, venues conducive and highly secured. Our outside broadcast van is available 24 hours and can broadcast your events live. And above all, you can air your events on our award-winning program like Events and Style. And any booking on the field or hall gets a bonus of free news coverage. Wow! What are you waiting for? Grab this opportunity and have your celebration in a grand style. For inquiries and bookings, please call NTA Benin, the award-winning station.
NTA Benin, reaching you from the ancient city of bronze, the cradle of black civilization.
Sister, I want Mon mega here. Ofone, then here ya trouble wa come out. Where is the sister?
Good to know that you're still there. Our guest is already in the studio this morning to discuss the mass failure in this year's JAM. So he's the Bishop Austin Igbasan. He's a social affairs analyst. He's the general overseer, Soil Liberation Bible Church. You're welcome, Bishop.
Thank you for having me. Good morning, viewers.
Bishop is not a new person. He's always obliging us in our reports and also in our programs. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you for having me.
By the way, you're looking very well packaged, as always.
Yes, I'm inside the refinery of the Holy Ghost, so I always come out fresh.
Of course, of course. So how did you make your way through this flyover, that junction? Because I was scared this morning that I don't know if you could.
Yeah, the traffic is a prayer request, and you have to pray very well before you can go through it. I think what ought to be done in that place is that such magnitude of work, the people handling the work should give access. That's feeder road. All the feeder road connecting to that place must be channeled so that people can have free flow of traffic. Because I can tell you for free, go slow is a killer of life. It kills people, it kills economy. Because when you are driving through where you need to spend 10 liters, you are going to end up spending 18 liters. That's why you are wasting money. Then also the carbon monoxide, when vehicles are following themselves like a convoy and they are not moving fast, the carbon monoxide also affects every person. You inhale it and you are dying gradually, and that is another part of it. And also you are not able to catch up with appointment because a lot of people will miss the appointment. Some people are rushing to office, some people are rushing to go and do one thing or the other. So it kills the economy gradually. And I think that those who are handling that project, as massive, as beautiful, as glorious as the project is, we must do that. Even though if the government that gives you the contract didn't tell you, so your social responsibility to the masses, you look at one or two feeder road and you use your earth moving machine to clear it up so that you can help people to use alternative route. If there's no alternative route, you create an alternative route because you want people to be able to meet up their appointment in the name of that job going on. You don't need to also stop the life of people. I think this is one of the things that there are some contractors in Nigeria, when you give them a project, they want the project to give people headache so that people will get back. When they get back, say, why did you meet your appointment? They are working there.
They are watching. I believe they will definitely create alternative routes so that people, there will be free flow of traffic. That's not what we are discussing this morning. It's just that we want to use it as a filler because I was really worried how you are going to pass there. And thank God you're here and also on time. So we are discussing the mass failure in JAM this year. Up to 1.5 million candidates scored less than 200 as the benchmark for JAM. So we have a background report that is going to usher us into the full discussion of this topic this morning. Is packaged by Mabel Oraro. Let's have it.
The 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination in Nigeria has seen a mass failure of candidates with over 78% scoring below 200 marks out of a maximum of 400. The Joint Admission and Matriculation Board has launched an investigation into the examination process amidst widespread complaints from candidates and parents. This was announced by the JAM spokesperson Fabian Benjamin, and he also stated that the review panel comprising experts will meet on Thursday, May 15, 2025 to evaluate the conduct and outcome of the 2025 UTME and identify challenges, if any. Some candidates and their parents, on the other hand, have raised concerns over technical glitches, incomplete questions, and discrepancies in results, with some candidates rejecting their results and threatening to initiate lawsuits. This will be our topic on Midweek Connect this Wednesday.
For that beautiful background, Bishop, tell us, you're a bishop, you're also an educationist. what do you have to say concerning some of the issues raised there? Up to 1.5 million candidates that sat for this year's UTME scored less than 200. I know when I was I wrote JAMB to enter university. If you don't have like 250, 260, 280, I mean, you won't go anywhere. But this time, talking about less than 200, so what's your thoughts on that? What's your reaction?
I think you see what is happening now is not going to be one-sided issue. It is an all-encompassing issues that spread around every channel that has to do with JAMB. It has to do with us as a nation. It has to do with parents. It has to do with the individual. It has to do with our education system, and that is why we cannot begin to blame the students that are writing alone. But let me start with the student. Now, some of these people, students that are the candidate that wrote this JAMB, if you look at it now, you see that there is a trend in our society, especially here in Nigeria, that education is a scam.
It's a scam, of course.
It has become like it's like an anthem.
Yeah.
It's not just a statement. It has become an anthem. It's like a philosophy now that people are running with it. The youth are running with it. Why? They've been able to look at it in their own perspective. They've been able to look at it that even those who went to school, at the end of the day, they came out and they are looking for jobs. The jobs are not there. And at the end of the day, you see the most brilliant of the students will come back again. Some of them become Okada rider. Some of them end up as, those days when we are growing up, if you don't have admission, it's like you are a leper among your friends. That is, if you don't have that admission, or your parents are not able to send you to tertiary institution, you are like a leper in the midst of your friend. Because I went through that. My parents are very poor, and despite that I was brilliant, there was no fund for me to be able to push. So, but my mother is the kind of woman that encouraged me that, okay, if you can't do it today, when you are strengthened, you can be able to do it by yourself. And I did that. Now, within that time, you see, if you don't go, if you are not able to get to university, you are not able to enter, all your friends, you look very inferior. The inferiority complex is there because you be inferior among your mates. Now, when you see those who go and learn artisan, tailor, hairdressing, you'll be mocking them. Yeah. But today you see a graduate will come back and come and learn tailoring. You can see the trend. Those days when the tailor sees a graduate, it's like he's seeing an angel. When a hairdresser see a graduate, I wish God helped me to go to school. But the reverse is the case now. Somebody will become a graduate and come back and begin to answer, "Ma, my madam is there. Oh, you came late to work." Now it has now changed that when you finish, you come back and do "sir, ma." For that lady that cannot even write her name, you now see that those children that are saying education is a scam, they've been able to do some points, but their points are baseless because education starts with your very self. And when you go to a tertiary institution today, a lot of people sit down in their office and because they know that we are a nation that believes so much in certificate. So even though somebody cannot defend the certificate, in as much as able to get it, I'm coming.
We'll come to that certificate issue. But first of all, before you write JAMB, we'll talk about the foundation, the secondary education.
Yeah, the primary and secondary.
Yes, especially the secondary education. What's your take in this issue of trying to strengthen that secondary education level so that it will not be a walkover when you're writing your JAMB, because most of the questions they throw in JAMB are what you are supposed to have
gone through in
your secondary school. So what do you have to say?
Now you see a lot of parents now. There are people that want their children to even write JAMB at GSS 3.
Yes.
That is where we have gotten to. That everybody is in hurry. Just like you see that somebody want to do native law and custom 7 to 8, traditional marriage 9 to 10, 10 from church to 12, and reception take place, everything take place. We have gotten to a level that people are fast. And why is it that everything is crashing? Yeah. Because people are not going through the due process we used to go through during our time. You see that today even parents are not helping it. They want a JSS 3 student to write JAMB. You see people, some children will get to a particular class, they don't go again. They now say they are going to coaching class, tutorial class, and when they go to those tutorial classes, a class where you fix a boy with a girl in the name of education. So these are the rotten part of it that has also built up to what you see that is the result we are getting now. I have few young boys that I went through their research. One got 361, I think, in the Ekiti State. There's another one in Delta State that got 300 and something. Yes. I went through some of those people that came brilliantly well in this exam. I'm not saying JAMB is infallible, but I'm saying from the side of those students. You see the issue of education is a scam. I had a seminar with students last week, about 1,000 students. And I started by that issue of education is a scam. And I started educating them to look at it, see that the first person to benefit from education is your very self. Education is not how much you make from it. It is making yourself responsible. I said, because when you really sit down and you study hard, those days you see that students sit down today, there are things that have taken their attention. The telephone is one of them, social media is one of them, that you see that even when you are asking people to write exam, so students put their gadgets close to them to ask Google what is this, what is that.
Their wristwatches, their buttons, it's not even about the phone.
So you see all these gadgets are there to how do we arrive here? It is because people want to cut. They want to corners.
Nobody wants to think again.
We want computer to do the work of our brain. Where we will sit down. Even when people go to university and write thesis, a lot of people did not write their thesis. They sit down somewhere.
We'll come to that because that one will come under the quest for certificate. Talking about alternative pathways, is there no way that maybe your opinion on maybe having an alternative route that's to higher education apart from this JAM issue, trying to maybe a policy that the government will bring out that there will be an alternative path to securing admission into higher institutions, therefore to reduce this quest. Students, everybody wants to go through JAM, and at the end of the day we are coming out with this kind of a problem.
In as much I believe that during the time of Professor Dibo Jenide that there was an upgrade of JAM, because you know that JAM those days there is a situation that happened in our neighboring state here where a retired permanent secretary have to go and write JAM for his own son that have written, but that time it was not this digital networking, and he was caught in the exam. Yes, it's not computer based now. But the man was caught because he said he's frustrated. The boy has written 3 times. So a retired permanent secretary is writing for his own son, sitting in the exam hall to write JAM. So before the advent of this ICT and upgrading and all the rest of them, as much as possible, if I'm not an advocate of JAM, if on my own, I know there are students today that ought to be in university. They have the capacity, they are well read, but JAM has not helped them to be able to go in. And that's why you see most country don't believe in university system. Some of these countries that are doing well, you see they end up as polytechnic or technical school because they believe in practicality of what somebody can display. There are people today that I have a child that has written JAM twice. The first time they said there was malpractices there, they shut down all the result of that place. Brilliant child. I know what it took me to be able to console, because this is a boy that teaches other people. I know what it takes me. I got a research yesterday of a girl that died.
Yes, I was even coming to that. Those things you're talking about now, Bishop, I believe they should come under psychological support for these children, going through these anxieties and everything. What's your opinion?
And you see the issue of JAM. JAM, like I said, they are not infallible. There are errors. Look at that girl that died now. The result came that you have 190. The girl has taken something to kill herself, only for something to come after the girl have died. Another message came again that you have been given admission. Now, who is to be blamed? In another country, JAM is to be sued because the guy paid for that service. The service render that have taken the life of the girl now, it is JAM that has the error. That's why I said some of these children that are complaining, if you look at the issue of JAM, I am an advocate that student should write an exam directly with university. University should set up their own exam.
They have their own.
I know post UTME, but I'm not saying that alternatively that it will be a direct exam that will know that if you can't post UTME without jam now.
Okay,
now you cannot just go to any university now and just write setting up set their own exam. So students that doesn't want to go through JAM should go through that. You have two universities as your choice. Your first choice, go to that university. They are set up exam that is set up to bring in their students. Because I can tell you for free, some part of Nigeria now they don't need 200 to enter university. And some part of Nigeria have to have 2 something above to enter. And we are running the same country. And you are reading the same course. You are reading economic statistics in one part of the country to enter with a lower grade. And you are reading in Benin here with a higher grade. And 2 of them are going to be called statistician. So how do you marry that one? I think that there are a lot of issues that JAM must look into, because some of these children complaining. Some of them did excellently well. What is the digital method, and what is the digital way of giving them this mark? Have they been able to track it? During Obaseki time here, we had an exam that was to take place tomorrow, and the paper of the exam is with a Bonle woman. A woman that is selling Bonle. It was from there they got an exam of tomorrow, and we are shouting at best that time. But the paper they are to write tomorrow was seen with a Bonle woman using to sell Bonle. How do we arrive there? So JAM must look inward. Yes, JAM must look inward. As much as I'm correcting the children that are saying education is a scam, I stand to say education is not a scam. Education helps you first, but because there are a lot of anomalies within JAM that need to be that they need to focus on. I give you an example. Somebody was given a mark, but because the person knew somebody in JAM, and the man knew the performance of his son, he went to somebody in JAM. Do you know that the child, they say he got 193, the boy got 270? It was because he knew that man. The man now had to call them, go and peruse and look at it. They saw that boy got 270. I can tell you for free, within the system of JAM, there are a lot of anomalies that they need to correct. Instead of blaming our children have their own error, they have their own fault, but JAM must look inward, because they are becoming a revenue generating organization, which is not their mission. Their mission is not to generate revenue. Their mission is to get us, those who are brain, to be able to say, okay, you have this point, go into this university, you have this one, go into so place. But if you look at JAM, must look at itself, because how are you going to tell that parent that have lost that girl now? How are they going to replace that girl on an error? That is, before you start disbursing this thing, I think that before you start sending results, there must be a set of panel that will go through it and painstakingly go through to know that what is going to people's network are their scores. Because this girl is irredeemable, we can't bring her back to life. Okay. And I can tell you for free that girl has just died for nothing. Nothing is going to happen. Nobody will visit that family. Nobody will console them. Nobody will say, what do we do from there? What do we do so that we don't be having? Last year
that's why we are doing. That's why you are here, to profile some solutions that, your recommendations. I think the government will look into it. But at this juncture, let's call for break. You can call in, you can make your suggestions, your opinion on this topic of mass failure in JAM this year. Up to 1.5 million candidates that sat for the 2025 UTME exams scored less than 200, and that is what we are discussing this morning. So you can call in to make your own suggestions, your contributions, and your opinion on this issue. The number to call is 081-090-42594. I'll take that again, 081-090-42594. So Bishop, don't you think that is this issue of certificate, quest for certificates that are making, I think the population is too much. Everybody must not go to university. You can go and learn trade, learn other skills. entrepreneurship. Don't you think is this case for because you kept on saying certificate? So this is the time for you to buttress your point on that.
You see, our country is a country that believes so much in certificate. We believe so much in certificate that even if the person with the certificate cannot defend the certificate, it's not an issue. Or what you need. That's why you see that even political leaders, when they have issues, we have an issue of certificate with an individual that removes somebody who's supposed to be sworn in as a governor 24 hours.
Well, we're having a call. Very good. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, your name and where you're calling from?
This is Daniel from Benin.
Okay, welcome.
This issue of job, I know our children, they are very prepared. If the job that have fought, they are doing it to reduce our people from this side. They don't know any. They say we don't know anything. Whether for the north, you are forcing for person to come and go to school. We that is ready, our children are ready for this place to go to school. They want to reduce them to nothing so that they are generating revenue to make money for the country. That's what they are not doing. I have somebody, one small girl in my area, he teaches people. But when time comes out, they say he has below 150. Somebody that is teaching a class, his schoolmate, he has below.
Thank you.
How can you take that?
Thank you so much. Thank you. Bishop, he talked about somebody that he knows. He also talked about revenue jam. I think he's frowning at jam generating revenue.
I mentioned it here that their job is to do exam and bring out the best of the best to move into tertiary institution. But when you see it, like I told you now, I have a son who have written jam twice. He's teaching other people. The first time they said malpractice here, they discover one person, they shut down the result of all the students that wrote in that particular place before that center. Now the second time they gave a below mark. All the people he taught, all of them got 250. They gave me 183. Now I can say for free that you see our quest for certificate.
Yes.
Our quest for certificate is that the country is that. That's why you see some people
see somebody a candidate writing jam for 5 times.
5 times. Now,
exam president. Why not just venture into other?
That is why, because we are a country that believe in certificate. Now, other countries, they don't run what we are trying to run here. They believe in capacity. They believe in competence. And you know that there are people today because they want to become. I want to become a medical doctor. There are people that God has wired to be an electrical engineer. And they will take their word. People are supposed to be automobile engineer, but they are running because they want to run into this. They believe a country, if you don't have a certificate, you cannot fly. That's why we have seen that. You see that even people in political position, you see that they have issues like that. Oh, this certificate here, he has not gone here. We have the issue of one Buhari that time who was Speaker of House of Rep with Toronto certificate. Why do we arrive there? Because they know that they quest for certificate. Even when somebody have the ability and capacity to do something, we don't believe in those who can do it. We want somebody that will present a certificate. So, and for that one, people move with that trend. That is what our country believes in. They don't believe that if you have a capacity to do something, somebody may have capacity to handle this camera and may not have gone through any school. You know that all of us in this country, we are born with a skill, divine skill. Yes. There are people that play hair now without learning it, that they just play it and they play it perfectly well. So we don't believe that capacity. We believe in somebody presents this. That's why you see people sit in their shop and today they will have PhD. When you ask them to come and sit down and defend it, they can't defend it. Their thesis is somebody wrote it for them. They don't even know the introduction, the topic and everything. Somebody wrote. There are people that are specialists in university in writing thesis for people, and somebody will sit down and go and present it, and everything goes because the education system itself is rotten. That we must deal with it from bottom to top. So instead of using our children as revenue generating units, wherein I said it just now that a part of the nation, you enter with anything, any scores. Another set of the nation, we are making people to go repeated. I think that until this mentality of certificate goes away, Somebody write jam, you can't go in, you go and do something else.
Yes.
Because they look at you, that other people will look at you as a failure. Your colleagues and friends will look at you when they graduate they see that maybe you are into one business or the other. They look at you as a failure. But I think that jam must go to, people are already going to a level of going to school jam. And that is the worst thing. That because now integrity test, they are failing the integrity test. And the service provider, you cannot have issue with service provider and be using that one to punish our own children. You cannot be having, okay, when you send a message now.
But Bishop, before now, I think the region, I think the most one of the factors is the issue of drop in reading culture. Drop in reading culture, and these gadgets that you see children carrying out up and down. So, and even on the age, you see them in school. So, some of these factors, can you react on some of them?
Number one, there are countries today that no matter how brilliant you are, they will keep you at a particular stage before you enter a stage of another stage of education. Yes. Because they wanted you to be mentally mature. Because a child can be academically balanced and not be mentally mature to be able to handle that. As students now, the people have entered into university, they end up become corrupted because they are not mentally mature to go in. Now, when they go in and they meet up people who are well versed than them. When I say well versed, I'm not talking on good things. Okay. Those who have been there. Some of them have been there for years, and when they come in, some of these people are lured into cultism, they are lured into prostitution, they are lured into all kinds of things, all kinds of crime. Now, some of them are polluted from the kind of upbringing they have at home, but because they are not mentally mature to be able to handle that level of education. They are brilliant, but they are not mentally mature to be able to stand the test of decision in some area. Some of them, say I can't do this one. There are some of them that it is the lecturer that will just say something and they bamboozle them and they take them off sweep them off their feet. Some of them have ended up becoming a security breach for the peace of the nation. So that's why many countries make sure that you pass through some class before you you are mentally mature to handle that class. But today in this country, the parents want their children to even write. Today, you see a child that is not even academically balanced. The mother is saying, I want her to be in social class. This is what I want for that child. And the child is not even fit for that class. That is one thing.
I think that one is always highlighted in private schools.
Yes, not only, I think the private school is helping to deal with that. I can tell you for free that public school, yes, but people come with pressure. You know, one thing is policy. When you have a policy, like our own, we have a standard. If you are coming from somewhere, there's an exam you take within that system. I don't care if you say this school, it is an angel that is teaching them. Where we relocated from, let the child go through our own process. If you're a medical doctor in Nigeria, they don't care how many years you have practiced. If you enter US today, you are going to go through their system. They will not call you a medical doctor.
What are the processes like? Just highlight some of the processes that the students can go through. Is it at JSS 3 or SS when somebody comes? Because you see some from public school, they will run to go and write external exams in some of these private schools they call miracle center. So we'll highlight some of these processes that you feel they go through in order to be solidified to write JAMB when it comes.
Now, definitely there are students that didn't even sit down for SS3 exam. They have already left the school when they enter SS2. What they do is that they register somewhere for the exam. They also go to tutorial class that I said just now that tutorial class is like a wedding ceremony where you join a girl to a boy, and half of what they are telling them there are things that will not really help them. That I'm not saying all the tutorial class, but I can say for free that 85% of them, some children who didn't have boyfriend, when they go to those tutorial, when they are coming back, they are already blessed with one or two. And this is corruption that has even crept in through that stages. I think the parent, our parent, must stand their ground, because the failure of parenting has also led us to where we are. A child is using, there are students that go to school with phone. Even when the policy of the school is that they shouldn't use phone, by the time their parents are summoned, that we seize this phone from your child, you see the parent will say, oh, this, that, they will say something to package the child. That is not helping. I think the parent must sit down by themselves to say due process. These gadget children are carrying up and down. There are a lot of benefits in it, but the ugly side of it is too much. Are you going to talk about corruption? I go talk. They brought a child recently. That little boy staying with the grandmother. The boy, I think that boy is about 8 or 9 years. The boy was using the mother's phone to play some game and was taking money from the grandmother's account to be this little boy of 8 years. Using her grandmother's phone. They brought the boy to me.
The 8 years should be in primary 3.
Yes.
Ideally.
The boy is also transferring money from that phone to other colleagues. Say he's doing Father Christmas in school. A child of 8 to 9 years. Now the access to that phone. Don't forget that these children, you don't need to teach them. The digital children we are giving birth now. You don't need to teach them how to use phone. You know, in our days, when you give birth to a child, it takes 3 weeks for the child to open his eye. They even say put breast milk. But these children we are having now, 3 more before they are born, they are already seeing clearly inside their mother's womb. So they are not the kind of those children that. So if you give them phone, your phone, I can tell you for free, your children have, if they have access to this phone, there are things you don't know about this phone that they can, some apps they know how to make use of it, and they didn't go to any school. So instead of us crushing these children for this, let us turn this disadvantage to an advantage of what they can do with the phone. Because you can't take it away from them. There is no way you can withdraw phone now from children. Highest is you can say, I'm not buying phone for them. Some of them will use phone of their friend. Even when phone has not come. I remember I was in a cyber cafe. 2 little children came to the cyber cafe, and I just saw that one of them sat down, was operating the computer, the other one was at the back, was doing like this. I just look at it. What is happening? They're leaking ice cream. What is happening? I turned from. I was on the one operating the system. The person in the cyber cafe was doing it, only to watch that those 2 children, they gather money together to buy tickets for 1 hour. And what they came to be doing is to be watching pornography.
Oh my God.
Phone has not fully come then. Computer.
Okay, this
cyber cafe. You go to cyber cafe, so they now bought this thing. You just say 1 hour. So I just saw that the one at the back, he was doing like this, was doing like somebody is doing like this. I didn't know that, and I stood up to look at them.
Don't you think there is a lapse on the side of the parents? Because even if your child is using a gadget, are you not supposed to be curious to know what that child is decides? The child, just do as if you want to pass and peep into the phone.
I think.
Don't you think that is a parental guide?
There must be guide. Do you know the children you are talking about now? Do you know they have password to lock? Is it the parent that is selling something in the market that doesn't have time for the children? That they even want to ask questions, the man didn't have chance. And the man that hold his phone, that only transactions, text message, WhatsApp message, and snapping of picture. That's what the parent know. Now, how would the parent be able to hold the phone? If you give the phone to some of the parents and say, check what your children are doing, they are not technically educated to be able to even know the site that those children are going. So this matter of telephone, we must be prayerful. We must also watch over our children. Like what you said, Nada, you can just go. My son, we sleep on the same bed. When I see him watching something, I say, what are you watching? I look at it. I look at it. There was a time I noticed my son that when I enter the room, he comes out of the room. When I goes to the parlor where he's sitting, he comes back to the room. One day I asked him, I said, we're supposed to be my mate. You're supposed to be my friend. Why is it that when I enter the room, you step out? So what I need to correct, I quickly correct. I say, I'm building a relationship with you. I want to see what you are watching. I want to see the video you are watching. I watch a lot. I listen to preachers on the phone. Now I want to see what you are watching. Bring it, let me see. I come suddenly to see that I monitor.
So don't you think that these are some of the issues, these distractions are some of the issues that contribute to, mass failure when it comes to exam? Because talking about AI, for example, when the exams are set, of course you're not allowed, you're not expected to use your gadget or use your AI whatever to now write that exam. exam. So for them now to think, they cannot think. Don't you think they have a lot of distractions?
The children, the students have a lot of there are a lot of distraction. But what I'm saying is that the area, these gadgets we are talking about, they are also going to need the gadgets. Some of the secondary school
some
now.
Of this, the merits of it.
Yes. The demerits of these gadgets will always remain there.
Okay.
But I think that what we need to do is that from the school end, that is educational system, must wake up to be able to deal with that. Number two, parents on their own.
Deal with that how? Because I know in my state, Anambra, there's nothing like you don't come to school with your phone. It's prohibited. You understand? The policy is that no students or any people must come to school with any gadgets. Even if you like, let this be an AI or a wristwatch. So is it also applicable in Edo State?
It's not applicable here, but I think that even in the Anambra you are talking about now, I can tell you for free that 50% go to school with those gadgets. Number one, the school, they made the policy, government made the policy. Okay. What are the gadgets they put in place that can detect a wristwatch, that can detect in the bag of the child that the child comes with a phone? What are the gadgets that is put? You know,
at least in class, as a teacher, when you're teaching, you will also know that
some of them do these things during their break, during their this thing. So what I'm saying is that you can always, to make policy is one. Enforcement of that policy is another thing. Because like our own system now, we make sure that there's somebody that search the bag of every child.
Morning,
yes, that search the bag.
Where do they say at points? Is it at the gate?
At the entrance. At the entrance, yes. Okay, they search the bag. So and those people that were discovered, the phone is seized and their parents are invited, and they are told that if this one repeats itself the second time, this child is expelled from this school. You can go and give. And you know the problem is that one policy you are effecting in your own as a standard. Some people are opening their door down. So anybody rejected, they are coming here. We must have a unifying kind of a policy that will be enforced to see that parents must support that you must not buy phone. Now, when we give assignment to some of our children,
is that not talking about standard now? Somebody, they're talking about discipline and standard. Somebody rejected, maybe a proprietor rejected a child to discipline that child for using his or her gadget, and you see another private school trying to welcome that.
Not only
it tells to our standard of education in Nigeria from that
yes level. It is not only private school, even government school. Somebody can remove a child from Old Western here. They say, oh, the boy is too someone, this, that. You can go to another school because there is no means of tracking that child, that, oh, this child, we expel this child. This child is a child of questionable character. We have taken a decision over this child. How would this child go elsewhere? So I think that the education system, if you look at, we have to go back and fumigate some of the things we have had. And I said, jump must look inward. Like the report we had just now, they must set up the panel to deal with the issue, because as people begin to approach the court for JAMB, you will see that if you are going to tell me to advise the federal government, I will tell you that I want JAMB to be scrapped. According to Oronsaye's report, let it be scrapped. Let it be scrapped. Let other two options. Let university conduct their direct exam for their distance, because every university is not having the same standard. You can't compare some universities in part of Nigeria to other universities in other part of Nigeria. So they have their standard, they have their quality, they have what they dish out. So they set up, let their panel will set, and everybody come to write the exam. You write the exam within the campus of the school. Anywhere you are, you want to be part of that school, you want admission, come in there, they write. The lecturers in that school, they mark. They mark, and marks are given to people, and from there it moves to the admission board of that school to look at the best student, because this is your own exam. You are the one that wrote it by your own standard. So you know the kind of student you want into that institution. So you set up your standard, when we mention some university now, people will stand up in Nigeria. When you mention some university, they say, I beg, that one, everybody just enter.
And those ones will try to sit up too.
They sit up because when they see that there's crowd going there, and this certificate is recognized worldwide because of the capacity, the competence, and ability of those who are imparting knowledge there. Then our lecturers also, as much as we talk about this jam, you ask who are the people marking the exam, the jam.
It's computer.
I know it's
the
computer.
Result comes out immediately.
That's why I say computer.
Yeah.
I know. I'm just asking you now.
Okay.
The computer now marks somebody with 190, and also still mark that person and send the original result. Then you ask yourself. You see, China, instead of them recruiting integrity citizens, they went to build wall round about their nation. Tower. And they discovered that after that tower was built, enemy comes in. Until they now discover that it is the same people that mount the tower that open the door for the enemy to come in. Now, when you say AI has marked the exam, given somebody 190, the person has committed suicide. Now, the AI still brought another exam. I can tell you for free that the same girl, after she has killed herself, now, who is to be blamed?
Killing herself now. No, anyway, we don't have much time. This girl killing herself is just boiled down to that they don't have that mental capacity to withstand pressure. Talking about underage children going into higher institutions. So you just tell us one or two of your how to round off.
I think
what governments and NGOs and everybody can do, students, teachers can do to nip this issue at the board.
One, there are parents today that are using the error of JAMB to flog their children. That has contributed to that. Even when it is an error of JAMB to give somebody who is brilliant, who prepared well, and they gave a lesser mark, the parent will come and turn the child to become national anthem in the morning devotion. They will use it. Parents should come and embrace their children. Encourage your children that success is of the Lord. You must make up your mind to be successful. And when you fall, the Bible said, my enemy don't laugh at me. When I fall, I will rise. We should tell our children that when they fail, when these two things happened to my boy twice, I encourage him. He was downcasted. I encourage him. He was expecting me to breathe fire and brimstone, but I know his capacity. I knew that the result of JAMB was not his capacity. I encouraged him. All of us brought him together. All the sisters, everybody encouraged him. We used the word of God for him. I took him out. I took him to the altar. All parents must tell your children that you cannot die because a system that is malfunctioning. I'm not judging you.
Inside that system that is malfunctioning, some people still scored 300 and above. Talking about standard.
Yes.
And also distractions and everything in between.
You see, when we begin to zero everything on distraction of our children, JAMB will never look at their error. I've just given you an error that took life.
Recommendation.
That took life now. Then JAMB must pay a visit to that family. They must do that. You see, the government must do something about schools by having counselors.
Okay, yeah.
Counseling children from JSS 1. But there should be a section for counseling, telling them that how to face life. When you fall, you are bound to get up. Yes. All those who are up today, they were once down. And when the system fails, you don't allow your destiny to fail. It has not. We will cite those examples within the education system. Let that be counseling within the church system. The parents should also love their children, no matter what has happened. That girl, it was because of the fear of what they have been saying that made that girl. Don't compare your life with your colleague. Everybody, the fingers are not equal.
Quest
for you must enter university. It's not everybody. I didn't go to university, man. When I finished secondary school, what I was able to do was to do a shoemaking company. I started there. It was from there I sent myself to be able to reach where I am today. So, and all my friends, I refuse to be inferior. When they come from campus, that they end of them come to my shop, it is me that will be telling them what is happening. I didn't make myself, I didn't allow inferiority complex to crown me.
Everybody must not go to university. And
it's not compulsory.
It's not compulsory.
It's not compulsory.
You must go. You prepare for it. And also, most of these recommendations that you have dropped this morning, I believe JAMB should look into it. Thank you so much, Bishop, for coming to our program this morning. Viewer, we thank you for staying tuned, and all our callers, we appreciate you all. Thank you so much. Keep a date with us next week when we come your way for another interesting topic. Till then, bye-bye for now.